My precious child, time is not just moving, it is collapsing. There are only 7 minutes left in the spiritual realm for something that has already been released in your name. This is not a metaphor. This is not motivation. This is a divine alert. I, your Father, have already signed what heaven prepared. A wealthy person hath been stirred. Keys have been sent. A house hath been marked. Money has been assigned. And you are standing at the edge of receiving it. Listen carefully. Before tonight, before 11:59 p.m. strikes, something must shift inside you. Because this is not about luck. This is about alignment. And if you miss this moment by doubt, distraction, or delay, the window closes silently. You have been praying for stability. You have been crying for a safe place. You have asked me for financial relief. You whispered at night, God, just send one breakthrough. What you did not know is that heaven recorded every tear. Every sigh became a seed. And now the harvest has matured. But here is the shock. The miracle was not delayed because of me. It was delayed because you were not ready to recognize it. The wealthy person I move is not random. I touched their heart weeks ago. They could not sleep. They felt an unexplainable urge to release something. They kept seeing your face in their thoughts, even if they do not fully understand why. I orchestrated conversations. I arranged meetings. I shifted paperwork. I opened doors in rooms you have never entered. And today, the keys exist. There is a house connected to your destiny. Not just walls and a roof. This house carries the peace. It carries protection. It carries a new beginning. The atmosphere inside it is different. When you step in, anxiety will not follow you there. Fear will not sit at your table. Stress will not sleep in your bedroom. But the enemy of timing is hesitation. Right now, doubt is whispering, this sounds too big. Fear is saying, what if this is not real? But I am telling you, child, this is the hour when faith must override logic. You have been through seasons where doors slammed in your face. You applied and were rejected. You trusted and were betrayed. You saved and then lost. That history created caution inside you. But this is not that season. This is a transfer season. Wealth is not only money. Wealth is favor. Wealth is access. Wealth is divine positioning. I am transferring you from survival into establishment. From instability into ownership. From waiting outside into holding the keys. And yes, money is attached to this miracle. Because I know what you have not told anyone. I know the bills you calculated in silence. I know the embarrassment you felt asking for help. I know how you pretended everything was fine while pressure was crushing your chest. I saw you all. That is why this miracle is specific. Not vague. Not symbolic. Keys. The house. Money. 3 confirmations. 3 signals. 3 layers of breakthrough. But here is what makes this urgent. Heaven operates on obedience windows. When I say move, you move. When I say believe, you believe. When I say open this immediately before tonight 11:59 p.m., it is because something is aligning in real time. Archangel Michael hath been assigned to guard this transition. He stands at the gate of your next season. His sword is not against you. It is against every force that tried to block you. He has cleared battles you never saw. He has dismantled opposition that tried to delay your ownership. He has stood between you and collapsed more times than you realize. And now he stands as a witness. The spiritual contract is ready. But contracts require agreement. Your agreement is faith. If you treat this lightly, you step out of alignment. If you scroll past destiny, you delay what was prepared. This is why you felt led to listen right now. This is why something in your spirit said, pay attention. Because this message is not for everyone. It is for the one who hath been at the edge of giving up. It is for the one who said, God, if you don't move soon, I don't know what I will do. I'm moving. But you must open your heart before midnight. You must reject fear before midnight. You must choose expectation before midnight. 7 minutes in the spirit can determine 7 years in the natural. Do not treat this as entertainment. Treat it as instruction. Something is being released over your name. Something is shifting in paperwork. Something is being signed. Something is being approved. And when the notification comes, when the call happens, when the opportunity appears, you will remember this moment. You will remember that I warned you. You will remember that I prepared you. You will remember that I said, only 7 minutes left. This is the beginning of your overflow season. And what happens next will confirm that heaven was never silent, only strategic. Beloved soul, the clock you see on your wall is not the only clock that matters. There is another timeline moving above you, and it does not wait for hesitation. What I am revealing now is deeper than excitement. It is about preparation. Because when a miracle is released, it does not knock politely forever. It responds to readiness. You keep asking how this wealthy person fits into your life. Let me show you something hidden. I began positioning them long before you understood the pressure you would face. When you entered your hardest season, I had already arranged your rescue. That is how I work. I finish what you call impossible before you even recognize the danger. The house, the keys, and the money are not random gifts. They are answers that were designed in advance. But here is the part many people miss. When provision comes from unexpected hands, pride can interfere. You might think, why would someone of that level notice me? You might question your worth. You might feel small, and that insecurity can silently reject what I am sending. I need you to understand this clearly. I do not choose based on status. I choose based on destiny. If I can move kings for my purpose, I can move a wealthy person to unlock your next chapter. Archangel Michael has not only guarded you from attack, he has also protected your name in rooms where you were discussed. Conversations that could have turned against you were redirected. Opinions that could have harmed your opportunity were softened. Doors that looked closed were kept slightly open until the right moment. You thought you were forgotten, but heaven was negotiating on your behalf. This is why tonight matters. Before 11:59 p.m., something spiritual completes its cycle. Not because I am limited by time, but because you are stepping into a new dimension of responsibility. Ownership changes mindset. Financial increase changes habits. Stability demands maturity. If I hand you keys without growth, you may mismanage what was meant to bless you. That is why this message is both a promise and a warning. You must shift your thinking immediately. Stop speaking lack. Stop expecting disappointment. Stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. The wealthy person did not send this to test you. They sent it because I instructed them. The house is not charity. It is alignment. The money is not luck. It is restoration. And restoration feels unfamiliar at first. You have lived in survival mode for so long that peace may feel strange. When you walk into that new space, you may look around and wonder if it will last. That is trauma speaking, not truth. I am not bringing you into a temporary blessing. I am bringing you into establishment. But I need your agreement. Agreement is not just saying, I receive. Agreement is adjusting your behavior as if it is already done. Clean your mindset. Organize your plans. Envision your new environment. See yourself holding those keys. See yourself stepping into a house that carries your name in the spirit. See your finances stabilizing. Faith must become vivid. And let me speak directly to your hesitation. Some of you think this sounds too bold, too dramatic. But remember this: every major shift in Scripture sounded impossible before it happened. Every breakthrough looked unrealistic until it manifested. The difference between those who received and those who missed was simple. One group believed quickly. The other group paralyzed until the window passed. Do not analyze your miracle into disappearance. If this message is stirring something inside you, do not keep it to yourself. Engage with it. Declare your expectation in the comments. Let your faith be visible. Share this word with someone who has been praying for housing stability or financial breakthrough. Subscribe to this channel if you know you are being guided here consistently. Support what is feeding your spirit. When you interact, you are not boosting an algorithm. You are aligning yourself with a prophetic atmosphere where faith grows stronger. There is power in agreement. And before we move further, understand this. What I reveal next will make even more sense of why the timing is urgent. Here is a detail about this transfer that you have not considered yet. It is the very thing that proves this is not coincidence. Hold your focus. What comes next connects every piece together in a way you did not expect. Chosen one. What I am about to reveal will settle every question that has been forming in your mind. The transfer that is happening around you is not only financial, it is generational. The reason this miracle feels intense is because it is breaking a cycle that has followed your bloodline for years. Poverty was familiar in your family. Instability was normal. Renting, borrowing, surviving, that was a pattern. But tonight, before 11:59 p.m., that pattern is being confronted. You were not born just to repeat history. You were anointed to interrupt it. The house connected to your name is more than a building. It represents ownership where there was once dependency. It represents authority where there was once limitation. And the wealthy person who has sent keys and money is unknowingly participating in a divine reversal. They may think they are simply being generous. They may think they are just following an inner nudge. But that nudge was my voice. I planted your name in their spirit. You have asked me why your journey felt harder than others, why you had to struggle while others seemed to glide. It was because you were carrying more than your own breakthrough. You were carrying a shift for those who will come after you. The stability you are about to step into will not only bless you, it will change the environment for your children, your family, and even those who look up to you silently. This is why Archangel Michael has stood so firmly around you in this season. The opposition was not random. The resistance was not coincidence. When generational cycles break, spiritual tension rises. But Michael's assignment was clear: protect the transition. Guard the transfer. Ensure that what heaven approved cannot be stolen by fear. And now listen closely. There was a moment recently when you almost gave up on expecting anything big. You told yourself to lower your expectations so disappointment would hurt less. That thought was the final test. Because expectation is the doorway through which miracles enter. If you close expectation, you close reception. Tonight is about reopening expectation. Before 11:59 p.m., I need you to declare internally that you are ready for increase. Not timidly, not half-heartedly, fully. The keys symbolize access. The house symbolizes establishment. The money symbolizes restoration, but the true miracle is confidence. Confidence that you are not forgotten. Confidence that I am actively arranging your future. Something else is happening behind the scenes. Paperwork is shifting. Conversations are concluding. Decisions are finalizing. And while you sit there wondering if this could really be for you, heaven is finalizing details. Do not let doubt disqualify you at the last moment. There are people who hear messages like this and brush them off. They say it is too much, too direct, too urgent. But urgency is not manipulation. It is mercy. I am giving you time to align your heart before manifestation arrives. I am preparing you so that when the call comes, when the message arrives, when the opportunity presents itself, you will not hesitate. Because hesitation has cost you before. This time, you will respond with boldness. I want you to understand something deeply personal. The wealthy person involved does not see the full picture yet. They only feel compelled. They only know they must release something. That is how divine influence works. I do not always explain my plans to everyone involved. I simply move hearts. And my hearts move in obedience, miracles move in motion. You are closer than you think. If your spirit feels stirred right now, that stirring is confirmation. If your chest feels tight with anticipation, that is alignment. If tears are forming without clear reason, that is release. Something heavy is lifting. Now respond. Type "I receive divine transfer" in the comments if this is speaking directly to your spirit. Lesson code 444 has just been activated over your household. And as this code is released, understand this sacred opportunity. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal using the link in the description, you are not funding a channel. You are watering a field of souls. The word you are hearing tonight reaches hearts that are on the edge of giving up. Scripture declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And that is not ancient history. That is my living voice speaking to you now. When you release a seed, you trigger a harvest beyond your sight. I am inviting you into partnership with heaven's assignment. This is your moment of response. Do not treat it casually. As this message has unlocked a house, keys, and provision in your life, let your giving unlock light in someone else's darkness. I see every seed. I multiply every act of obedience. I breathe increase over those who move when I prompt them. Step into this flow boldly. Sow with expectation. Activate your support now and become a carrier of the same miracle for others. Faithful one, something is happening in the unseen realm that you cannot afford to misunderstand. The moment you declared that you received the divine transfer, a shift occurred. Agreement activates acceleration. What was moving steadily has now begun to move swiftly. But acceleration can feel uncomfortable if you are not mentally prepared for change. You have grown used to waiting. Waiting for approval. Waiting for stability. Waiting for relief. Waiting for someone to finally notice your effort. That waiting built endurance in you, but it also built caution. Now that movement has started, you may feel uncertain because things are no longer slow. Opportunities will begin to align quickly. Conversations may take unexpected turns. Doors that seem permanently shut will suddenly open with little resistance. Do not panic when speed replaces delay. The reason this miracle is connected to a house, keys, and money is because I am establishing structure in your life. Structure removes chaos. Structure brings rhythm. For too long, your environment has felt temporary. Even when you tried to decorate your space, part of you knew it was not permanent. That subtle instability affected your confidence more than you realized. Ownership restores authority. When you hold keys that belong to you, something shifts in your posture. You walk differently. You plan differently. You dream differently. The house I am aligning you with carries more than comfort. It carries identity. It is a declaration that you are no longer just passing through life. You are building. But let me warn you about something subtle. When increase approaches, distractions also increase. Old voices may resurface. People who ignored you may suddenly reconnect. Doubts may intensify in the final moments before breakthrough. This is not coincidence. It is resistance reacting to loss. The moment you move forward, something else loses access to you. Archangel Michael stands firm in this hour. His assignment is not only protection from external threats but also protection from internal sabotage. Self-sabotage has delayed you before. Overthinking, second-guessing, shrinking yourself in rooms where you belonged. That pattern ends now. This miracle requires bold acceptance. You may wonder how the wealthy person became connected to your destiny. Understand this clearly. Influence follows instruction. When I instruct someone to give, I also provide them with peace about their decision. If they hesitated, I reassured them. If they questioned it, I confirmed it. You are not taking something from them. You are receiving something assigned to you. There is a divine balance in this transfer. They release what they no longer need at the level they are entering. You receive what you need at the level you are entering. Both parties move forward. That is how kingdom economics works. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. But your responsibility is gratitude without fear. Gratitude acknowledges the gift. Fear questions its stability. Do not mix the two. When you step into the new space, speak life over it. When the finances arrive, manage them with wisdom. This is not a moment to repeat old habits. This is a moment to elevate your standards. Something else is important for you to understand. The timing before 11:59 p.m. is symbolic of closure. Midnight represents a boundary, a line between what was and what will be. Before that line is crossed, you are being invited to consciously release your old mindset. Release the identity of struggle. Release the narrative that says you are always the one who almost makes it but never fully arrives. You are arriving. And when arrival happens, clarity follows. In the coming days, you will notice subtle confirmations. A message that aligns perfectly. A call that shifts direction. An unexpected favor. Do not dismiss these as coincidence. They are breadcrumbs leading you into full manifestation. Stay alert. Stay receptive. There is still one detail about this transfer that has not been revealed. A detail that explains why this wealthy person specifically was chosen. It connects to something you did in the past, something you may have forgotten. And when you understand that connection, your confidence will solidify completely. Steadfast heart. The missing detail you have been waiting for is this. The wealthy person connected to your miracle was linked to you long before you recognized their significance. This is not a sudden appearance. This is a divine reconnection. At some point in your journey, you displayed integrity when no one was rewarding you. You helped without expecting repayment. You stayed honest when compromise would have been easier. You planted seeds in obscurity. You forgot those moments. Heaven did not. The person who is now positioned to release keys, a house, and financial provision into your life once observed your character. Maybe it was brief. Maybe it was indirect. But something about your spirit left an imprint. You carried humility without weakness. You carried resilience without bitterness. That left a mark. You assumed your quiet obedience went unnoticed. But influence does not always announce itself immediately. Sometimes it waits for the appointed time. And now the time has arrived. This is why I told you that this transfer is not random. It is not luck. It is not manipulation. It is recompense. It is restoration. It is a harvest from seeds you no longer remember planting. When you acted with integrity in a season of lack, you secured favor in a season of increase. But listen carefully, because this is where maturity matters. When blessing returns through human hands, ego tries to interpret it incorrectly. You may be tempted to think this happened because you oppressed someone, or because you performed well, or because you positioned yourself cleverly. No. Do not reduce divine orchestration to human strategy. I moved the heart. Archangel Michael ensured that interference did not distort the outcome. There were moments when misunderstanding could have separated this opportunity from you. There were conversations that could have shifted perception negatively. But protection covered your name. Truth overshadowed rumors. Clarity replaced confusion. And now the circle is closing in your favor. The house attached to your destiny carries a story. It may not be brand new. It may not look like the fantasy you imagined. But it is strategically perfect. Its location connects your future relationships. Its space accommodates future growth. Its environment shields you from distractions that would have drained you elsewhere. Perfection is not always flashy. Sometimes it is functional. And the money connected to this release is not merely to impress you. It is to stabilize you. Stabilization is sacred. When financial pressure decreases, mental clarity increases. When survival stress lowers, creativity rises. You are about to think more clearly than you have in years. But I must address one more hidden resistance. You have a tendency to feel unworthy of sudden goodness. When things shift positively too fast, you instinctively brace yourself, waiting for something to go wrong. That expectation of loss hath been rooted in past disappointments. But this season is not repeating your past. This season is rewriting it. Before 11:59 p.m., something spiritual finalizes. It is not about rushing you. It is about sealing agreement. Heaven honors conscious acceptance. That is why this message keeps drawing you deeper. You are not here by accident. You are being prepared for impact. Impact extends beyond you. When others see your transition from instability to establishment, they will question how it happened. And you will not need to boast. Your peace will speak. Your stability will testify. Your growth will preach silently. This miracle is not just provision. It is proof. Proof that obedience matters. Proof that integrity is not wasted. Proof that delays are not denials. And now I want you to do something internally. Release the timeline you created in your head. The one that said, "By this age I should have been further." The one that compared your progress to others. That comparison distorted your joy. It made you feel behind. You are not behind. You are precisely aligned. The wealthy person did not move earlier because the alignment was not complete. You were still growing. They were still positioned. Circumstances were still arranging themselves. Timing is not about speed. It is about synchronization. Synchronization has now occurred. You are stepping into a chapter where things connect more smoothly, where effort produces visible results, where doors open with less resistance. Do not sabotage that by clinging to an outdated identity. Lift your expectation again, because what is about to unfold next will confirm that this is only the beginning of a larger expansion. Brave soul, what you are sensing right now is not imagination. It is transition pressure. Every time a person moves from one level of life to another, there is a squeezing effect. Old comfort zones begin to feel tight. Familiar limitations start to irritate you. Conversations that once felt normal now feel small. That discomfort is not confusion. It is expansion announcing itself. You are outgrowing the version of you that survived. Now you are stepping into the version of you that builds. The house connected to your destiny represents more than shelter. It represents authority over your environment. For too long, your surroundings dictated your emotions. Noise disturbed your peace. Instability shaped your decisions. Limited space restricted your vision. But where I am taking you, your environment will support your growth instead of draining it. When you unlock that door for the first time, something spiritual will register. It will feel like a deep exhale. Not because the house is perfect, but because it is aligned. Alignment brings rest, and rest restores strength. But before manifestation completes, you must pass through this final mental threshold. There is a part of you still scanning for reasons why this might fail. You have experienced near breakthroughs before. Moments that looked promising but dissolved unexpectedly. That memory created caution. Yet this time is different because protection has been intensified. Archangel Michael has not only guarded the opportunity, he has cleared interference in advance. The battles that could have delayed paperwork have been handled. The misunderstandings that could have complicated agreements have been resolved quietly. The spiritual resistance that once followed your name have been confronted. This is a clean transition, and the wealthy person involved is operating in unusual peace about their decision. They are not second-guessing. They are not hesitating. That calm is confirmation. When I move someone to release provision, I remove their anxiety about it. Generosity flows naturally when it is divinely instructed. Still, I need you to guard your own mouth carefully. Do not announce your breakthrough prematurely to doubters. Not everyone around you understands timing. Some people carry subtle jealousy disguised as concern. Others project their fear onto your opportunity. Protect this transition until it is fully secured. Silence can be strategic. At the same time, do not isolate yourself in disbelief. There is a difference between privacy and secrecy. Privacy protects peace. Secrecy hides expectation. I want you expectant. I want you prepared. I want you adjusting your posture as if you are already stepping forward. Look at your habits. Are they ready for stability? Look at your discipline. Is it prepared for increase? Look at your thinking. Has it expanded beyond survival? This is not just about receiving money. It is about managing it wisely. It is not just about entering a house. It is about maintaining it with stewardship. Growth requires responsibility, and you are capable of it. You have underestimated yourself for years. The pressure you endured built more strength than you realized. The disappointments you survived sharpened your discernment. The closed doors you faced taught you resilience. Nothing was wasted. Every delay trained you for this elevation. Before we go further, take a moment to engage with this message. If you feel this confirmation in your spirit, express it. Write your expectation in the comments. Share this word with someone who has been standing on the edge of breakthrough. Subscribe if you recognize that these messages consistently align with your season. When you actively engage, you strengthen your connection to what is being released. And hear this clearly, what is about to unfold next will reveal why the timing is so exact. Here is a reason the instruction focused on opening this before 11:59 p.m. It connects to a cycle that has been operating in your life for years. You will see how tonight draws a line between what used to define you and what will define you from this point forward. Stay attentive, because the revelation ahead will shift how you interpret every past delay. Listening heart. The reason the timing before 11:59 p.m. matters is deeper than urgency. It represents the breaking of a repeating cycle that has quietly governed your life. For years, patterns have formed around almost stable, almost secure, almost settled, almost ahead. You have stood at the edge of breakthrough more than once, only to watch it slip away at the final hour. That pattern created a subconscious expectation of disappointment. Tonight, that pattern ends. Midnight symbolizes a reset point. It is the border between chapters. Before that border is crossed, you are being asked to consciously renounce the identity of almost. You are no longer the person who nearly receives. You are the person who fully steps in. The wealthy person involved in this transfer is part of that reset. Their obedience is colliding with your readiness. This is not accidental timing. It is synchronized release. If this had come earlier, you might have mishandled it. If it came later, you might have hardened your heart. But now, you are balanced between humility and hunger. That balance makes you ready. Archangel Michael's presence in this season had been strategic. The battles you felt emotionally drained by were not random stress. They were the final resistance of a cycle that did not want to release you. When cycles break, they resist. When patterns shatter, they push back. But protection has surrounded you. What tried to keep you small no longer has authority. Now I need you to understand something about worthiness. You have equated worth with achievement. You told yourself that once you reached a certain level, then you would deserve stability. Once you proved yourself enough, then increase would be justified. But worthiness in my kingdom is not earned through exhaustion. They root in identity. You are my child. That identity alone qualifies you for provision. The house prepared for you is not a reward for perfection. It is a platform for purpose. Inside that space, clarity will increase. Vision will sharpen. Plans that once felt distant will begin to form structure. Stability creates space for calling. And the money attached to this miracle is not simply to pay bills. It is to free your mind. Financial strain has consumed more of your mental energy than you admit. You have calculated, recalculated, worried, adjusted, sacrificed. That constant tension limited your creativity. Once relief enters, you will think differently. You will plan long-term instead of week-to-week. But here is where vigilance remains important. When cycles break, old emotions sometimes try to return one last time. You may feel sudden doubt just before confirmation arrives. You may feel unexplainable anxiety as if something might go wrong. Recognize that as residue, not reality. Residue fades when not entertained. Speak expectation instead. Say within yourself that this time will complete. This time will finalize. This time will establish. Because it will. There is also something happening in a wealthy person's environment that confirms this is ordained. They are entering a new level themselves. And in order for them to rise, they must release. What they are sending to you is not loss for them. It is alignment for both of you. Kingdom flow is circular. When one obeys, another rises. When one releases, another receives. And when you receive properly, you become capable of releasing in your own future season. You are not just stepping into blessing. You are stepping into a new identity as a future blesser. Let that settle deeply. The insecurity that once whispered, "You will always struggle," is being silenced. The narrative that said, "This is just your lot in life," is being rewritten. You are transitioning from limitation into legacy thinking. Before the clock crosses into midnight, seal this in your heart. Do not carry the old chapter into the new one. Release the fear of almost. Release the habit of shrinking. Release the memory of near misses. Because what is approaching you now is not near. It is complete. And what unfolds next will show you that this house is only the first sign of something even greater expanding around your name. Precious one, now you must see the larger picture beyond the house, beyond the keys, beyond the money. Those are signs, not the full story. They are evidence that a greater expansion has already begun. What is unfolding around you is not a single blessing. It is the opening of a new territory in your life. Territory is different from temporary relief. Temporary relief solves a moment. Territory changes a future. The house represents territory. It marks space that cannot easily be taken from you. It anchors you. It gives you a base from which to build, create, plan, and grow. When you have a base, you stop living reactively. You begin living strategically. That shift alone will alter how you move in every area of life. You have been in reactive mode for too long, reacting to bills, reacting to emergencies, reacting to instability, reacting to other people's decisions. That constant reaction trained you to think short term. But now, as territory is secured, you will begin to think generationally. Archangel Michael's assignment in this hour is not only defense, but establishment. Defense protected you when you were vulnerable. Establishment strengthens you now that you are rising. You are no longer simply surviving attacks. You are standing in authority. And authority changes posture. When you carry keys that belong to you, your spirit recognizes ownership. Ownership builds confidence. Confidence influences decisions. Decisions shape destiny. This is why the miracle is structured this way. It is not just emotional encouragement. It is physical confirmation. The wealthy person who has sent this provision is part of a larger alignment. They are not just generous. They are positioned. And their obedience is tied to your obedience. If you had hardened your heart during delay, you would not be able to receive this without suspicion. But you stayed soft enough to believe again. That softness is strength. Now listen carefully. There is an unseen ripple effect connected to your acceptance of this miracle. When you step into this new level, others around you will begin to shift. Some will be inspired. Some will be challenged. Some will distance themselves because your growth exposes their comfort zones. Do not be surprised by these reactions. Expansion always reveals who is aligned and who is not. You are not called to shrink to maintain old connections. You are called to rise and allow alignment to sort itself. As midnight approaches, something spiritual is sealing. The chapter of constant instability is closing. The chapter of structured increase is opening. This is why urgency has surrounded this message. Not to pressure you, but to prepare you. You are being positioned for more than provision. You are being positioned for influence. Inside that house, conversations will happen that shape your future. Ideas will form that generate new streams. Peace will restore parts of you that stress had drained. You will think more clearly. You will pray more boldly. You will plan more confidently. This is only the first sign. There are additional opportunities that will unfold after this initial transfer. But they require you to fully accept this first step without fear. If you hesitate now, momentum slows. If you receive boldly, momentum increases. So anchor this truth in your spirit. This is not accidental. This is not exaggerated. This is not symbolic only. This is tangible alignment. Now respond again. Type "I step into NEW territory" in the comments if you feel this shift in your spirit. Blessing code 818 has been released over your next chapter. And as this territory opens, understand the sacred responsibility connected to it. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal using the link in the description, you are extending this territory of light to others who are still in darkness. I am the one who gives seed to the sower, and when you release your seed, I multiply it beyond what you can measure. This is not about supporting a platform. This is about expanding my word into homes that are crying out for hope. As I have released keys and provision toward you, release your obedience back toward me. Let your giving become a prophetic echo of the miracle you are receiving. Move quickly when I prompt you. Do not delay generosity. I see the heart behind every offering. I bless the hands that give. I enlarge the territory of those who partner with my purpose. Step forward now. Activate your support. Become a carrier of this expansion. We are not at the end. What unfolds next will show you how this territory connects to a calling you have barely begun to understand. Steady your heart, because what you are stepping into is not only territory, it is transformation. The house, the keys, the financial release, these are visible signs of an invisible shift that has already begun inside you. Territory changes environment, but transformation changes identity. And identity is what sustains what you receive. You are not the same person who first prayed for relief. Back then, your prayers were heavy with desperation. You asked me to take away pressure. You asked me to remove fear. You asked me to send help quickly. I heard every word. But instead of only removing pressure, I built strength inside you. Instead of only eliminating fear, I grew discernment. Instead of sending immediate help, I developed endurance. Now, when the help arrives, you are strong enough to hold it. This is why the timing is precise. If the wealthy person had released this provision during your earlier season, you might have clung to it from a place of fear. You might have overprotected it. You might have doubted its stability. But now you are stepping into it from maturity. You have learned that I am your source, not the gift. The gift is a tool. I am the provider. That distinction will protect your peace. Archangel Michael's presence has ensured that this transformation was not interrupted. Growth requires protection. As you were shedding insecurity, opposition tried to remind you of your past failures. As you were rebuilding confidence, old memories tried to resurface. But protection stood firm. You were allowed to grow without being crushed. Now the external shift matches the internal one. The house is physical confirmation that you have outgrown survival mode. The money is confirmation that you are trusted with stewardship. The keys are confirmation that access hath been granted. Access changes options. For years, you felt limited in your choices. You made decisions based on what you could afford, not what aligned with your calling. You chose safety over expansion. You accepted less because you believed more was unreachable. That mindset shaped your reality. But reality is shifting. When stability enters your life, new possibilities become realistic. You will begin to consider opportunities you once dismissed. You will see doors you previously ignored. You will recognize connections that were always there but hidden by stress. This is why I have been preparing your perspective alongside your provision. Do not underestimate the power of perspective. Two people can receive the same gift, but only the one with vision multiplies it. I am expanding your vision now. You will no longer see yourself as barely making it. You will see yourself as building legacy. Legacy thinking is different from survival thinking. Survival says, how do I get through this week? Legacy says, how do I position the next decade? Survival asks, will this last? Legacy asks, how can I grow this? Your questions are changing because your season is changing. Still, there is one more layer to understand. The wealthy person who released this provision is not the final link in your expansion. They are the first confirmation. Their obedience opens a door that leads to additional connections. When people see you established, they will approach you differently. Stability attracts collaboration. Confidence invites partnership. You are stepping into a network you did not have access to before. But stay grounded. Increase should never disconnect you from humility. The same gratitude you felt in lack must remain in abundance. Gratitude protects increase from corruption. Remember how you felt when you were praying for relief. Carry that memory as a reminder to stay compassionate toward others still waiting. Because your story is becoming a testimony. Others will ask how you moved from instability to establishment. They will want strategy. They will want explanation. And while practical wisdom matters, do not forget to acknowledge divine orchestration. It was not coincidence. It was alignment. You are aligned now. As the final moments before midnight approach in the spirit, seal this transformation within you. Let go of the identity of the struggler. Embrace the identity of the builder. Release the fear of losing. Embrace the responsibility of managing. Because what unfolds next will show you that this was not just about receiving a miracle. It was about stepping into authority over your own future. Determine one. Authority over your future is not a poetic phrase. It is a real shift in power. For years, circumstances seemed to dictate your direction. Other people's decisions interrupted your progress. External instability shaped your internal mood. But now you are stepping into a place where your choices will carry more weight than your circumstances. That is what this miracle is truly about. The house represents rootedness. Rooted people are not easily shaken. When wind comes, they bend but do not break. When storms rise, they remain standing because they are anchored. You have lived through storms without roots before. You survived it, but it exhausted you. Now you are being anchored. Anchored people think long-term. When you are anchored, you do not panic at every unexpected change. You evaluate. You respond wisely. You conserve energy for growth instead of wasting it on fear. This is the posture you are entering. The keys in your hand symbolize authority to open and close doors. Not every opportunity will deserve your yes anymore. Stability gives you the freedom to choose instead of react. The financial provision attached to this transfer is also strategic. It is not meant to inflate ego. It is meant to remove desperation. Desperation clouds judgment. When you are desperate, you accept what you should reject. You compromise where you should stand firm. But when pressure decreases, discernment increases. Archangel Michael's role in this transition has ensured that you arrive here with clarity instead of confusion. Clarity is protection. You are not walking into this next chapter blindly. You are stepping in aware, prepared, and guarded. I must speak to something important. When authority increases, responsibility increases with it. The blessing is real, but so is stewardship. What you do in the first days of receiving will set the tone for what follows. Guard your peace. Organize your plans. Review your priorities. Do not rush into unnecessary commitments simply because you feel relieved. Relief should lead to wisdom, not impulse. There will be voices that suddenly treat you differently once your stability becomes visible. Some will celebrate genuinely. Others will attach themselves to your growth for their own benefit. Discern the difference. You are no longer in a season where you must say yes to maintain connection. You have permission to protect your environment. Before we move deeper, pause and engage actively with this message. If you feel your authority rising, express it in the comments. Share this word with someone who needs confirmation that their cycle is breaking. Subscribe if you recognize that you are being consistently guided here for alignment. Your engagement strengthens the atmosphere of faith around you. It signals that you are not just listening passively but stepping forward intentionally. And listen closely now, because what I am about to reveal connects your authority to influence beyond your personal life. Authority does not stop at ownership. It expands into impact. Once you are established, your voice will carry more weight. People listen differently when they see stability. Your testimony will not sound theoretical. It will be lived experience. You will speak from a place of evidence. That influence is part of this miracle. The wealthy person who obeyed the instruction to release provision toward you has unknowingly participated in expanding your influence. Your obedience empowered your platform for impact, and your obedience now will determine how far that impact reaches. This is why midnight represents more than closure. It represents commissioning. A commission is an assignment given after preparation. You have been prepared through struggle. Now you are being commissioned through stability. Do not underestimate this moment. As we move forward, you will understand how this new authority connects to a calling that has been quietly developing within you for years. What you once saw as distant possibility will begin to look achievable. What you once dismissed as unrealistic will begin to feel within reach. Stay with this. What comes next will redefine how you see your purpose entirely. Focused one, the calling that has been quietly forming inside you is about to become clearer than ever before. Stability was never the final goal. It was the foundation. When a foundation is secure, construction can begin. For years, your energy was consumed by maintaining balance in unstable conditions. You were constantly adjusting, constantly compensating, constantly recovering, and left little room for building something greater. Now the foundation is being laid. The house is symbolic of a base of operations. From a base, you strategize. From a base, you create. From a base, you expand. Without a base, you only survive. This is why the miracle was structured as it was. You needed rootedness before expansion. You needed provision before purpose could fully unfold. Purpose requires margin. Margin in time. Margin in thought. Margin in finances. Margin in peace. When you lack margin, vision feels overwhelming. But when margin appears, vision becomes exciting. You are entering a season where ideas you once dismissed will begin to resurface. Dreams you set aside will begin to knock again. Do not ignore them this time. Archangel Michael's protection around you was not only about preventing loss. It was about preserving calling. There were seasons when discouragement almost silenced you. There were moments when disappointment nearly convinced you to settle permanently. But protection intervened. Your spirit was guarded even when your circumstances were shaky. Now that protection transitions into empowerment, you will notice your confidence increasing naturally. Not arrogance, but clarity. You will speak with less hesitation. You will plan with less fear. You will move with less apology. This is what happens when identity aligns with provision. The wealthy person who released keys, a house, and financial support into your life acted as a catalyst. A catalyst speeds up what was already forming. Your calling did not begin with their obedience. but their obedience accelerated your timeline. And acceleration demands focus. Distractions will attempt to consume the new margin you receive. Entertainment will try to fill your quiet time. Unnecessary obligations will attempt to crowd your schedule. Guard your margin carefully. Margin is sacred space where strategy develops. Inside your new environment, you will experience ideas flowing more clearly. Pay attention to them. Write them down. Act on the small ones. Do not wait for perfect conditions to start building. You have already been given the confirmation you needed. But I must caution you about comparison. As your influence grows, you may begin to measure yourself against others who appear further ahead. That comparison will tempt you to rush. Do not rush. The same precise timing that brought you into stability will guide your expansion. Trust the rhythm that has carried you this far. You are not late. You are not behind. You are aligned. The midnight transition that marked the end of instability also marked the beginning of commissioning. Commissioning means you are entrusted with responsibility beyond yourself. The peace you experience in your new season is not only for personal comfort, it is fuel for impact. There are people who will watch your journey quietly. They will observe how you handled increase. They will study your response to blessing. And through your stewardship, they will learn what faith in action looks like. This is influence. Influence does not require a stage. It requires consistency. It requires integrity. It requires humility and growth. And you are capable of all three. The miracle was not simply about changing your address or increasing your balance. It was about shifting your capacity. You can now hold more. You can manage more. You can build more. And what comes next will seal this entire journey with clarity. The final revelation will show you how this miracle connects to a legacy that extends beyond your lifetime. Prepare your heart, because the closing words will anchor everything you have heard into one unshakable truth. Anointed One, this is the moment where everything connects. What began as urgency about 7 minutes was never about fear. It was about focus. It was about drawing your attention to a divine intersection, the exact point where preparation met provision, where protection met promotion, where survival ended and stewardship began. You now understand that the house is not just a building, it is a base. The keys are not just metal, they are authority. The money is not just currency, it is capacity. And the wealthy person was not just generous, they were obedient. But here is the final revelation. This miracle was never only about you. It was about legacy. Legacy is built when one person breaks a cycle so the next generation does not have to fight the same battle. You were chosen to be the interruption in your bloodline, the one who shifts from renting to owning, the one who shifts from barely managing to strategically building, the one who proves that delay does not mean denial. The midnight line you crossed spiritually was not just the end of instability. It was the burial of a mindset that said, "This is as far as I can go." That mindset no longer has permission to speak over you. Archangel Michael's assignment over your life in this season has now shifted from guarding your survival to guarding your expansion. Not all attention is pure. That is why protection remains, even as peace increases. You will rise, but you will rise covered. Now listen carefully. The reason this message felt urgent, intense, and specific is because destiny moments do not announce themselves twice. When heaven opens a window, it expects response. You responded. You aligned. You chose belief over hesitation. That decision has sealed something irreversible. In the coming days, confirmations will appear. tangible ones. Conversations that move quickly. Documents that finalize smoothly. I've said it is where there was once resistance. When it happens, remember this moment. Remember that you were told in advance. Remember that preparation preceded manifestation. And do not shrink once it arrives. Walk through the door confidently. Step into the house boldly. Manage the money wisely. Speak with authority. Plan with vision. Build with discipline. Because this is not the peak of your story. It is the platform. You are no longer the person praying for rescue. You are the person building resource. You are no longer surviving storms without shelter. You are establishing ground that others will stand on. And before this message closes, seal it with declaration. Type "I walk in divine legacy" in the comments if you receive this fully. Blessing code 999 has now been activated over your future generations. Now hear me as clearly as you heard the promise. As I have released keys, house, and provision toward you, I am calling you into partnership with this mission. When you give through Super Thanks, join membership, or sow through PayPal using the link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are expanding my voice into homes that are crying at midnight for hope. I am the Lord of the harvest, and I declare that every seed you release becomes light in someone else's darkness. This is your moment to respond as a builder, not a spectator. Do not let this word end with emotion only, let it continue with action. As I moved a wealthy person to unlock your next level, I now move you to unlock breakthrough for others. The measure you give will return to you, pressed down and overflowing. I see the obedient giver. I strengthen their house. I protect their legacy. I multiply their resources. Step forward now. Activate your support. Sow into this ground and become a living extension of this miracle.